Hello, everybody. It is Friday, April 3rd, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. What a huge day yesterday, and what a big day we have going on uh, today as well. Did I say yesterday? I meant to say yesterday. Where should we start? What's the biggest thing? Probably hockey. We'll go with hockey. Massive day yesterday for hockey. We'll start with the Sharks game. The Sharks just entered the day just 2 points back of the Nashville Predators. Actually, that's not true. Tied with the Predators, 1 point back of the Kings for the final wild card spot in the Western Conference. And what happened yesterday? The Sharks needing the win on the second half of back to back. They won. They won their fourth game in a row, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 4-1. Alex Nedeljkovic, 18 for 19 on saves. Ostapchuk had a goal and an assist. Eklund a goal and an assist. Gaudette, Graf, Misa, Goodrow, Orlov, Wenberg, Sherwood, and Toffoli all had points. You know who I didn't hear there are Celebrini, Smith, Chernyshov. The Sharks scored 4 goals, none of which involved Celebrini or his line mates. And you might consider that a bad thing, but I consider it a positive because it's not just Celebrini and Smith and Chernyshov out there. It's the whole team is playing well. 4 goals without the first liners, as opposed to the night before, where all 4 goals were involved involved Celebrini. And this is a positive. It means that the whole team is playing well, and we don't have to rely on Macklin for games to be won. It doesn't have to be all on him. He doesn't have to do everything. Granted, he still has to do a lot in order to win games against good teams. However, we can see here the Sharks don't need to rely fully on Macklin. It's not a LeBron 2018 carry job. Other people on the team can kind of pick it up. But here's what happened in the game. The Sharks scored early. Ostapchuk on a wrister with 16 minutes in the first. Then Graf scored with 2 minutes left in the first. Eklund scored with 2 minutes into the second. Not the Blues. The Maple Leafs scored on the power play to make it 3-1 in the second, and then an empty netter from Gaudette. Kind of a quiet game. Only 25 shots for the Sharks and 19 for the Maple Leafs. Not a lot of power play. Just 2 opportunities for the Sharks they did not cash in on, and then 1 for the Maple Leafs, which they did score on. It wasn't as crazy of a game as the other 3 that were in this winning streak, but it's a nice, solid game for the Sharks. And the fact that Macklin didn't have to carry the team yesterday was definitely the biggest part of it. Other scores around the league, these are the big ones here. The Predators beat the Kings in a shootout. 8 rounds of a shootout. A shootout's only supposed to be 3, and if it's tied, then they keep going. They went 8 rounds in this shootout before Evangelista finally scored one. Both goalies were fantastic in this shootout. In the regulation, not so much. 4-4 was the final regulation before the Predators won it in the shootout. So what does this mean? It's a very interesting situation because with the Sharks win and the Predators shootout win, the Kings getting a point there. It means the Sharks, the Predators, and the Kings all have the same amount of points, 79. The Sharks have the tiebreaker. They are in the 8th seed. And then 9 Nashville, 10 LA with less than 10 games to go. These teams are dead even on points. The Sharks play the Predators 2 more times in these next 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks of the season. And it means that it's going to be razor close. It's going to be super, super close the entire way through, as if it wasn't already. But at this point, they're dead even. And the Jets are 3 points back. The Kraken are 4 points back. They're not out of it. And up ahead isn't that far either. The Golden Knights with 84, the Mammoth with 84, and the Ducks and the Oilers with 87. So that seems a bit unrealistic that we're going to catch them. The Golden Knights and the Mammoth, not too far out, just 5 points. But those are the 3 teams at the bottom. There's really a 5-team race for the final wildcard spot, and it's probably going to come down to the last day. And with the results from yesterday, just makes it even more entertaining that they're all tied. The Golden Knights did beat the Flames 6-3. The Mammoth beat the Kraken in the crucial matchup 6-2. Oilers over the Blackhawks 3-1. The Stars beat the Jets 3-0. The Wild beat the Canucks 5-2. The Devils beat the Capitals 7-3. Senators over the Sabres 4-1. The Lightning beat the Penguins 6-3. The Panthers beat the Bruins 2-1. The Canadiens beat the Rangers 3-2 late in that one. The Red Wings beat the Flyers 4-2. The Hurricanes dominated the Blue Jackets by a score of 5-1. The Blue Jackets only had 10 shots in that game. That's pretty crazy. All right, so games going on today for hockey. We have the Flyers and the Islanders, big matchup in the East, as well as the Blues and the Ducks, which is a big matchup in the West. Blues trying to hang around, Ducks trying to extend their lead, which they are now. Now it doesn't exist. They're tied with the Oilers on points in the Pacific. So that's hockey. Moving over to baseball. Big day for baseball. We have so much to talk about. Let's get into the Giants game from yesterday. Nice, clean team win from the Giants. They won yesterday over the New York Mets by a final score of 7-2. The winning pitcher in this one, Robbie Ray, 5 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits and 3 walks, struck out 7. The loss went to David Peterson, who gave up 6 runs, 5 of them earned, although it really should be 6 earned because there was an error on him. So he really gave up all 6 of the runs earned. That was on 9 hits and 2 walks, and then the 1 error committed by him. Over 4 1/3 inning, he struck out 5. The save went to Blade Tidwell, making his Giants debut, his season debut. He got the save even though we won by 5. He pitched 3 innings and gave up 2 hits, no runs, struck out 2 in his first save of his career. We'll get to him, but yeah, it was a nice game from the Giants yesterday. It was the beginning of the game. Lindor walked Soto, fielder's choice, and then he scored from first on a Bo Bichette double. Then the Giants tacked on 3. Luis Arias hit a triple that scored Elliot Ramos. Matt Chapman hit a double that scored Arias, and Jung-Hoo Lee hit a ball to first. He scorched this ball 100 miles an hour, and it was fielded cleanly by the first baseman. And on the exchange to David Peterson, he dropped the ball. Chapman scored, and Jung-Hoo Lee would reach on an error. At the top of the second, Mark Vientos hit a home run, made it 2-3. And then in the third inning, the Giants loaded the bases with nobody out. A sac fly from Jung-Hoo, a sac fly from Bader. Then the Giants would reload the bases and not get anything there. But it was 5-2 at that point. Casey Schmidt with a single with the bases loaded again. Actually not the bases loaded, but multiple guys on. He got a 1-run single. And then Rafael Devers hit his first homer of the year in the bottom of the 6th, went oppo taco to the very corner of left center. That's an impressive swing of the bat, not only from a lefty, but on a cold Oracle night. That's a very impressive swing. 105 off the bat, just snuck it out of there, but it's still 404 feet. Impressive swing of the bat from Rafi. That's his first homer of the year. And then Blade Tidwell came in and got the save. Excellent play from the Giants. We'll start with Robbie Ray. He was efficient. Actually, no. He was not efficient. I should not say that. He was not efficient. He was struggling. He got allowed the leadoff hitter to reach, like 3, maybe 4 straight innings. But it's kind of like Logan Webb in his last start. Robbie Ray did not have his best stuff, and he was walking batters and letting base runners on in the beginning of the inning. But he still battled, and he struck out 7 over 5 1/3, only gave up 2 runs over 5 1/3, so he kind of struggled at the beginning and then locked in at the end. What I especially like from Robbie Ray is, unlike his first start of the year, where he was only fastball and slider, he was working in the changeup, he was working in the curveball. All of his pitches were being used, and a lot of them were being effective, especially later in his outing. And that's what I like to see, because he was very excited about his slider, but the changeup was the pitch that he was excited about last season. And I liked seeing that changeup being used more, because if you're just a 2-pitch guy that can lock in on one of the 2 pitches, that's what kind of happened to Landon Roop in the beginning of his season last year. That's just a reference there, but Ray using all of his pitches, and then once it got into the later innings, he was using them effectively. Didn't give up a run in the third, fourth, fifth, or his one out of the sixth. Solid Giants win. We also got to mention Blade Tidwell, who came up because Buto got hurt. He got the save in this one, his first career save, because he went 3 innings pitched. I liked what I saw. I liked the sweeper a lot. So that was very impressive. And just a nice game for Tidwell. And this is how the lineup did. Adames struck out 3 times, but Devers 2 for 5 with a homer. Elliot Ramos 1 for 5. He scored twice. Luis Arias 2 for 5 with the RBI. Matt Chapman 2 for 5 with the RBI. Jung Hoo 0 for 2, but he had a sac fly and then knocked in Chapman with the air. Bader sac fly. Schmidt 3 for 3. Schmidt rebounded nicely from his tough game against the Padres. But here's the guy I want to talk about, the catcher making his MLB debut, Daniel Susac, was actually he didn't make his debut because he technically got in, but making his first start, Daniel Susac was incredible last night. 3 for 3 with 3 singles and a walk. He's batting 1,000. That's all I have to say. He's batting 1,000. He had a great game yesterday. He did get in the game before this just to get some experience. So it wasn't technically his debut, but it was his first start, and he was magnificent. Like I said, 3 for 3. He was effective at the catcher position. The pitching staff only gave up 2 runs with him calling the pitches and catching, and he challenged a pitch for Walker, and that got overturned via strike 3 call. I mean, his family was there in the stands. They were going nuts every time he got a hit. That poor kid that's going viral. The cousin or the brother, I can't remember what it was, but it was holding Susac's nephew. And I guess he just forgot he had the kid there because every time Susac got a hit, he'd go crazy. The whole family's cheering, yeah, yeah. And the kid is getting tossed around like a rag doll. He's crying, he's screaming. Go check the clip if you haven't seen it yet. It's hilarious, to be honest. But yeah, that's just how excited they were, and I'm very excited. I think this is an incredible debut. I mean, going 3 for 3 with a walk. Last guy to do that as a catcher was Mike Piazza. So, prepare yourself, I guess. There are some questions though. What does this mean for Patrick Bailey? I don't I don't think it means nothing. I think it does have some significance because granted, this is just one game. This is his first game. Not technically, but for the most part, it's his first game. And you don't know if it's going to be sustainable. However, 3 for 3 offensive production from the catcher position is something we haven't had in a while. No disrespect to Bailey. Bailey's main thing is his defense. His Susac's defense is not going to be as good as Bailey, nowhere close, because Bailey is the best. But Bailey has kind of been a liability offensively for his whole career and especially recently, the start of the year. Susac went 3 for 3, and he reached base all 4 times. Does that mean we're going to be seeing more of Susac? I hope so. But does it mean that we should just give up on Bailey and make Susac the starter? I don't think so. Yes, Bailey is not very good offensively. I think he can turn that around. I'm still a big believer in him. And I don't think Susac should be the starter, at least right now. But if he continues to play like this, questions might arise. That's just how it is. And then we got to mention Ryan Walker, who this is his first outing since he almost blew the save against the Padres. He pitched the 6th inning. And there could be 2 explanations for this. One is he was just trying to get some work, like Vitello wanted him to get into the game, and because he would have had to sit with almost blowing the save for a while. This is his first outing since then, and that was 3-4 days ago. So you want to get him in the game and give him a chance to get a positive outing to reflect on that. The other outcome or the other reason could be maybe he lost the closer job. No, nothing has been said about that. Either option I think is fine. I'd like Walker to get another chance to be the closer, but at the same time, he only has like one more strike left, seemingly, before that job is no longer his. Maybe it isn't his already, but I like him getting some work, regardless of if he still has the job or not, because as a reliever, it's tough to have a bad outing and then have to sit with that for multiple days. So getting him in the game was definitely a positive. And it's a good game for the Giants, 7-2 final score. There were only two other games yesterday. The Braves demolished the Diamondbacks, 17 runs on 16 hits for the Braves. The D-backs only scored two. Ronaldo Lopez got the win, 5 innings pitched, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. Ryan Nelson gave up 7 runs, 2 earned over 4 2/3. I don't know how that happens. But yeah, the Braves teed off. Olsen 3 for 5. Albies 2 for 5. Harris 2 for 6. Dubon 2 for 4. They had so many hits. They had so many RBIs. Yeah, impressive from the Braves. And the Twins beat the Royals 5-1. The winning pitcher was Taj Bradley. The losing pitcher was Cole Reagans, who struck out 8 over 1 run, 6 innings. The 1 run was not earned. The big story from this one was Carter Jensen, the Royals' young catcher, overslept and was supposed to catch and did not arrive to the ballpark in time, which meant Salvi had to catch, even though he was scheduled to DH. And he's an old guy, and they worked it out. I think I don't know the most about it, so I'm not going to speak on it, but that did happen. All right, that was yesterday. Let's go into baseball for today. Get the Blue Jays and the White Sox. Dylan Cease will make his second start for Toronto, and Taylor looks like he's going to be the opener for the White Sox, using an opener. Brady Singer going for the Reds against Mackenzie Gore for the Rangers. Aaron Nola for the Phils going up against Michael Lorenzen for the Rockies. Cade Horton for the Cubs against Cantillo for the Guardians. Kyle Bradish for the Orioles against Mitch Keller for the Pirates. The big story for the Pirates is number 1 prospect in the majors, Connor Griffin, the 19-year-old shortstop, is making his debut today. He's the number 1 prospect in baseball. He's the youngest prospect to come up, the highest ranked youngest prospect to come up since Soto, highest ranked American prospect that young to come up since Bryce Harper. Man, he could be a dog. I mean, he's ranked number 1, the best prospect in baseball. He's making his debut for the Pirates today. We'll see how that goes. It's exciting whenever a young prospect comes up. Joe Boyle starts for the Rays against Bailey Ober for the Twins. Chad Patrick for the Brewers against Avila for the Royals. You got Brian Wu for the Mariners against the Angels, starting Reed Detmers. Houston, Christian Javier. The Athletics, Jeffrey Springs. Grant Holmes for the Braves against Eduardo Rodriguez for the D-backs. You got Michael King for the Padres against Sonny Gray for the Red Sox. You got Yuri Perez for the Marlins against Will Warren for the Yankees. Michael McGreevy for the Cardinals against Framber Valdez for the Tigers. And then for the Dodgers and the Nationals, Sheehan versus Michaelis. There are a lot of teams making their home opener today. The White Sox, the Rangers, the Rockies, the Guardians, the Pirates as well. I think the Twins as well. The Angels, the A's, the Red Sox, the Yankees, Tigers, and Nationals all have their home opener today. So hopefully a good day of baseball will come from that. Then the Giants play the New York Mets at 7:15. Starting for the Mets, Nolan McLean. His first and only outing of the year was a 5-inning outing, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts against the Pirates. They would end up losing that game. And for the Giants, Tyler Mahle, his only start was 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts against the Yankees. So both starters had decent outings in their first ones of the year. McLean was actually pretty good, but they're looking to get wins in this one. Both 3-4 teams looking for wins early in the season. What do I want to see from the Giants? Well, I want to see Mahle have a good outing. I think he had a decent one on Saturday. I'd like to see a good outing today. Hopefully they can give him some runs and give him some confidence in that regard. And then for the offense, just continue to tee off. I mean, they scored 7 runs last night. On Tuesday, they scored 9. You'd love to see more offensive production from the Giants. And let's see what the starting lineup looks like. Has it been announced? It is not. You might see Gerard. You might see Rafi at first. You probably will see Bailey. We might see some changes. Who knows? I mean, it's been working, so if it ain't broke, right? All right. Now, yesterday the Warriors lost to the Cavaliers 118-111. Close one. Spurs beat the Clippers 118-99. Blazers beat the Pelicans. The Thunder demolished the Lakers 139 to 96. At one point, the Thunder led by 46 points, almost 50-point lead. Luka got hurt in this game, and the Thunder dominated. What does this mean? I think it means that in the West, there's a large gap between the Thunder and the Spurs and the rest of them. I don't think it's as close as some people may think. I think there's a huge gap. I think the Thunder and the Spurs are by far the best teams and probably the only teams that should be realistically considered as final contenders. Maybe the Nuggets, but that's just how I feel about it. Hornets beat the Suns. The Pistons beat the Wolves in a close one. Today, games going on. You got a lot of them. Any good ones? Wolves 76ers seems like the only good game. What else we got? We got NFL news. Yes, we have NFL news. Kirk Cousins signs with the Las Vegas Raiders on a huge contract. I think it's like 5 years, 172. If they wanted a veteran to mentor, they could have got a cheaper one. I guess they're trying to win. I don't know. Will the Raiders not be drafting Fernando Mendoza? I think they are still going to be drafting him. I think they just wanted to bring in a veteran who can mentor him and teach him the ins and outs of the league. And Kirk Cousins and Mendoza, they're very similar, very positive guys, and very good quarterbacks as well. So I don't mind this from the Raiders. I don't mind the thought behind it being we're gonna get a young quarterback. We want him to be put. We want to put him in the best position to succeed, and that means going out and getting a veteran, maybe to start for his first year, and instead of throwing him out there, baptism by fire. But $172 million is a lot of money. Kirk Cousins' agent, man, he is the best one in the business because he got benched and then came back, played mediocre, and then got a huge bag from the Raiders. You think he had an incredible year last year? He did not. I still believe in Kirk Cousins. I actually think he's a great quarterback. However, that's a lot of money for someone who's probably going to start for this year and then not again. A lot of money. But maybe the Raiders know what they're doing. Maybe they do. So that's going to do it for today. College basketball. We have the Final Four is tomorrow. The women's Final Four is today. I don't know who's playing. I'm sorry. But yeah. So it's cool. Happy Good Friday, everybody. And that's going to do it for today's episode. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.